I see your father standing next to you. I can see him right next to your shoulder. He's there. He wants to know. He wants you to know that he loves you. Guys, today we are myth busting clairvoyance. See you when I come back. Hey guys, welcome to Deadly Departed. I am delighted to be here, as you can see from hear from the first thing that we did beforehand. Today we're going to be myth busting clairvoyance. We did this before with clairaudience, and it was a big success with a lot of people. And so this is now the second part of the myth busting on clairvoyance. Now, if you haven't been here before, then please do subscribe to iTunes or wherever you're listening to the podcast, and also subscribe on YouTube, because this is also going out on YouTube as well. And if you've got any questions, as usual, please connect with me on Instagram at Spiritual Medium. Now, let's just jump right into it. I'm sure many of you have been out there, or even many of you that are developing mediums. We understand what is clairvoyance. I'm not going into the lessons of what is clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. It's utilizing the ability to perceive images or to visual stimulus that helps you. And it works again, it's like clairaudience. It's subjective and objective. What does that mean? Subjective means it's within oneself, it's in the mind, and objective, obviously, it's external to the mind. And this is not going to be a long video, because this is very easy to bust these myths. There's many times, I'm sure some of you have maybe been for readings, or you've been in a spiritualist church, or you have perhaps attended a demonstration, and the medium will say something like, I see your mother standing next to you, and she's placing her hand on your shoulder. What that actually does is very, very rare that a medium is actually seeing that objectively with the visual representative physical attributes of the eyes, utilizing the physical sense of the eyes, utilizing that organ to perceive that image that's external to them, and then experiencing it in an internal fashion. Because everything that we experience in life is internal. We actually don't experience anything external. But the problem with this in clairvoyance is that when someone says, I'm seeing your father or your mother or your brother or someone standing next to you, placing a hand on your shoulder, you're giving them a false sense of security. And also, if you're a developing medium, or you're going through a lot of grief at the time, that can actually make you feel a little bit worse. It can make you feel bad, because then you feel, well, why they can see them? Why are they so special? Why can't I see my loved one? Why can't I, feel that touch of my loved one? And the reality is that you're placing the medium, that medium instantly goes on a pedestal, and that medium loves being on that pedestal. They're not actually seeing your loved one next to them. Because here's the thing, if they were, I can see your son and I can see your grandmother, I see that person there, then the evidence would be far stronger. They would be able to say, he's wearing this, and the communication would be so strong that the evidence in itself would be amazing. Because as you're seeing that clairvoyant image objectively, which means that the energy is really strong, means that your ability to perceive, or your ability to connect at that vibrational level, is so strong that you would be able to perceive other information. And 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen. Yes, there are some mediums that are very, very, very rare that can maybe see that. It's a fleeting glance. Myself and my wife have actually seen spirit objectively, but it's a fleeting glance. It's something that doesn't last. Okay, it is wrong to give a sitter a false sense of security or a false sense of perception. The reality is that 99.9% of mediumship is a subjective mental experience. Okay, still a spiritual experience, but it's subjective. We perceive inside of ourselves. You see, if I hold, let me just get this flonase up here. If I hold this up and I say to you, see this flonase, okay? and then close your eyes and see it in your mind's eye. You're going to see it in your mind's eye. You're going to create that image inside of you, and therefore that is how you're going to see that subjectively. When spirit are communicating with us subjectively, they will place visual stimulus, visual imagery in your mind that you will be able to, you'll be able to pick up, and then you'll start to put the jigsaw puzzle together. You'll start to see images in a story. Things will start to make sense. But if I see a spirit standing there, and that spirit is in full objectivity, okay, like an apparition that you would see right outside of you, then you would be able to give more evidence than normal. And that just doesn't happen. So the reality is that when a medium, unless they can really back that up with some severe evidence, that medium is not actually seeing the way that you think they're seeing. They're looking and they're perceiving, they're feeling that your loved one or your father is there behind you. So the choice of words should be different, in that I feel your father is near you, or I feel that your father is behind you and he wants to place a loving hand on your shoulder and he's around you, to gently bring that connection to that loved one. Because here's the reality: if we try to put ourselves on a pedestal and make someone think that you're special, that you're seeing that person and that spirit objectively, you're causing them a little bit more grief, because in reality they can perceive just as well as you. They're able to pick up their loved one's feelings. Their grief stops them. The grief is the barrier. We are no different from one another. We are no different from each other. So I want you to especially if you're a developing medium, to try and think about how you're delivering your message and how you're actually saying it to the sitter, because they will pick it up differently to what you actually perceiving or what you're putting out there. It's very important that the choice of words that you say to your sitter, whether you're on a platform experience, whether you're delivering from the platform or you are actually doing a one-to-one or a group sitting, you want to be telling them that you perceive or you feel. And I'm seeing at the moment, I've got a vision of, or I'm seeing in my mind this, can you understand this? Not, I see them right next to you and they're doing this, because you should be able to say, and they've got a slight scar there and he's telling me, the evidence would be overwhelming. Yes, some of you will be able to perceive how a spirit looks in your mind, okay? And you might get it close, but if you're really seeing them objectively, that tells me that energy is so strong that they're able to show you an objective visual representation of them outside of your internal stimulus, but outside of you in an objective fashion. The evidence would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be outstanding. So don't lead your sitter into a false sense of security. Don't tell them that you're seeing the loved one with your eyes when you're not. You're perceiving them in your mind, utilizing your skills of clairvoyance. Clear seeing, okay? Clear seeing, okay? Coming from the French, okay? French vocabulary. Clear seeing. So you're clearly seeing in your mind. You are perceiving. I like to use the word perceive, perception. You're perceiving in your mind's eye the energy and the vibration that is making up that image. So here is the myth, guys. 99.9% of the time, they're not seeing objectively. When they're saying that they see a ghost, or maybe they will in some kind of paranormal investigation, just fleetingly, they're not communicating on an objective level that way, because the clairaudience, the clairvoyance, and every other sense that were there would be heightened just because of that one particular energy in itself. So be honest with your sitter and don't make them feel bad, because they want to feel their loved ones and they want to feel that spirit is around them. So don't put yourself on a pedestal and don't give them a false sense of security. 9 times out of 10, when they say they see a clairvoyant, a person next to them, clearly with their own eyes, they're not, okay? And that is a bit of a myth in itself. It's very, 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 very rare, okay? And 99% of mediums don't even do it. So there you go, guys. If you've got any question, that is busting some myths on clairvoyance. I'm sure I could have gone on and on and on, but I don't want to bore you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being with me. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Connect with me on Instagram at Spiritual Medium and ask me questions. I'm happy to share whatever knowledge I have. And if you're grieving and you're someone who's searching for a medium, make sure that you choose the right person that you have you have a connection with, or that you feel is good, and don't always just go by what they say that they're seeing things that they're not, or they're trying to blow themselves up. Try and choose use your heart and let spirit guide you to the right person. And remember, when you hear a medium on platform saying, I'm seeing them next to you, 99.9% they're not. They're perceiving in their mind's eye. They're perceiving subjectively, which is 99.9% of the time with any mediumistic individual. God bless.